Hello, my name is Chris Woodpan. I'm the owner of Ingot Film Studios, and I am working with HeroTime to make a bunch of videos to help you get your products ready for print. So vectorization is the taking of text from being a text editable unit to being outlines that are now a graphic element. This is going to convert it so that it's not restricted by the font, and you can now play with it. You can do designy things with it. You can have a lot more options than you had if it was just text. Now, why do we care about doing this is because there are many factors that go into a font being converted onto a computer and things like that. So you run the risk of your font not displaying exactly the same at the end result. So when the printer gets your font, it might not be exactly the same. Maybe they're on a Mac, maybe they're on an older PC, maybe they have an outdated Windows machine that's not able to process the fonts properly. There are a multitude of reasons why fonts can be slightly different. Now, while that might not be as big of a deal, say, for the core text in your rulebook, because that's going to be, across the whole thing, and it might just be a very subtle change. But that subtle change that might happen on, say, your title or your images, your box cover, the thing you're putting forward the most, you could really run into something that is not what you originally imagined. So we don't want to do that. So make sure that whenever possible, especially when you're dealing with graphical big fonts like this, that you can actually go through this process. You will be rewarded with a much more true to life result that you expect, and that it's going to be correct. So enough of me talking. Let's actually hop into Illustrator real quick just so I can demonstrate this process. A very fancy font here. I would probably never use this in my real life, but it's fun and it's funky, and there's probably a very good chance that nobody has this font on their machine. So what I'm able to do now is I can edit this all I want. As soon as I want to vectorize this image, I won't be able to edit it anymore. So here's a pro tip for you, and make a copy of that. Okay, you can also copy and paste it, but I always like to have a second copy that has all the information in there, and then I just hide it. Okay, click on the little eyeball. That way it sits there, and if I ever need to go back in and edit that text and redo this process, I'm very much able to do so. If I just right click on it while this image is selected, all right, you'll see here that I have Create Outlines is now an option. If I go here under Type, Create Outlines is also there. Control Shift and O, or Shift Command O if you're on a Mac. So if I click that, now you can see here that each of these letters has now been updated to be an individual graphic, and then Illustrator grouped it together as well. But now is that it's a graphic, if I go to forward this file onto somebody and they don't have this Ravi font, this text is still going to show up, and it's still going to be usable, and it's still going to be infinitely scalable, which is a huge reason why we do this. Couple tips for this one. I always duplicate the text layer before I convert it to outlines. That way I can always undo what I needed to do, or maybe I need to change something. The other thing is that now I don't have to worry about the font going with this to the publisher, the producer, the person printing this game. They don't need to have the font on their computer at all to execute it the exact way that it is on my screen. Sometimes I'll have two files that I actually work with, one that has all the fonts in it, and then I will save that as a copy, and then I'll go through and I'll make a new one that I will just outline all my fonts. So join me next time. We're going to talk about the colors in fonts and dealing with getting a good rich black color on all your fonts, whether it's in print or whether it's in your rulebook, it's your text. We're going to cover that in the next episode. So we will see you then. Thanks for watching.